Hey guys, Lone Wolf here, and welcome to the Legacy of Kain timeline, where I will go in depth history of the entire series. Legacy of Kain has always been one of my favorite series of all time, with its Shakespearean narrative, story, and characters. The series started in 1996 by Silicon Knights with its first installment, Blood Omen, which we will get into, but first we will start from the very beginning before Blood Omen ever started, and this will contain major spoilers. Now, before we get started with the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share the video, and hit the bell notification so you will be notified for more videos like this. And now, without further ado, let's get right into the journey to the dark gothic story of the Legacy of Kain. In the earliest history of the land of Nosgoth, before the dawn of time, Nosgoth is ruled by two elder races, similar in power but different intentions. There were the vampires, the ancient winged race, and the Hilded, the unknown alien race. The vampires worshipped the wheel of fate, the cleansing agony of birth, death, and rebirth, the purifying rhythm of the universe, a cycle which sustains all life, to which all souls are irresistibly drawn, manipulated by the parasitic elder god. Meanwhile, the vampire Hilden War began, as the Hilden opposed the vampire's tyrannous god, and refused to submit to the wheel of fate. The races battle for dominance of Nosgoth in a great apocalyptic war, which flames for 1,000 years, will destroy both victor and vanquished alike. Until, in triumph, the vampires banish the Hilden from the world, with powerful magic sealing them into another plane of existence, and raise the pillars of Nosgoth as the lock that binds them. The 9 pillars reach infinitely high into the skies, and deep into the earth, representing the principles of the Pillar of Mind, the Pillar of Dimension, the Pillar of Conflict, the Pillar of Nature, the Pillar of Energy, the Pillar of Time, the Pillar of Status, the Pillar of Death, and at the center of all of them, binding them together, the Pillar of Balance, which are tied spiritual and physical health of the land. The pillars stand like silent sentinels over Nosgoth and will perpetually be represented by an oligarchy of sorcerer guardians, known as the Circle of 9, which are appointed by 9 vampire guardians, the original circle, entrusted with the safekeeping of the pillars, sworn to serve and protect the ancient edifices that is formed. Each guardian is marked from birth, chosen and summoned by the pillar he is destined to serve for his lifetime. In return, the guardians are granted longevity and extraordinary powers. The death of a circle member is inevitably followed by the birth of a successor. The supernatural force behind the pillars calls a replacement to fulfill that role, whom it is the responsibility of the remaining guardians to seek out and apprentice into the circle. The guardians each represent the principle that their pillar embodies, and the balanced guardian is the access of them all. In their defeat, the vanquished Hilda retaliate with a terrible curse as they fell, afflicting the vampires not only with a bloodthirst that turns their once noble race into ravenous predators of humankind, but with sterility as well. With the vampires' transformation comes their enemy's true revenge, immortality. Imprisoned in the flesh, the vampires are expelled from the purifying cycle of death and rebirth, and cast from the wheel of fate, plunged into torment and despair. Unable to bear the separation from their god, many of the apostates are driven to madness and self-annihilation. Two champions are prophesied, one destined to be Nosgoth's redeemer, the other its destroyer. The vampire's hero wielded a mystical sword known as the Reaver, as the Hilden foretell a messiah of their own, an adversary worthy of their powers, brandishing a fiery sword. Two heroes locked in combat, which only one will survive and decide Nosgoth's fate. The legendary vampire known as Janos Aldrin is one of the greatest vampires that ever lived, the 10th guardian and the keeper of the Reaver, which was crafted by his prodigy and blacksmith Vorador and awarded him with the dark gifts of becoming a vampire. As the ancient vampires begin to die out, the pillars summon human guardians to fulfill their roles. The vampires adopt or abduct the human guardians and make vampires of them when they come of age. Mobius, the guardian of time, is introduced to the elder god when he lives among the vampires. A bloody revolt is orchestrated through Mobius by the elder god, led by Mobius and Mortanius, the guardian of death. The humans rebel against their masters, refusing the curse and seizing the pillars as their own. Over time, the ancient vampire's bloodline trickles away until Janos alone remains sustained solely by obligation, his unfaltering faith in the old prophecies, and his guardianship of the Reaver blade. Just as the origin of the pillars is seemingly lost to history, and the Circle of Nine is also unknown by sworn to protect the pillars. As 500 years passed, the formation of the Sarafan began, an army of fanatical soldiers with only one goal in mind, the eradication of the vampire race. And they were led by 7 Sarafan warriors, Malik, the defender of 9 and guardian of the Pillar of Conflict, and his brethren, Raziel, Turel, Duma, Rahab, Sephon, and Malchiah, all warrior priests. The Sarafan had proven their strength in numbers, killing thousands of vampires, and made their way to the secluded Stronghold retreat where Janos Aldrin resides helplessly against the Sarafan warriors. As Raziel tore Janos' heart from his chest, the Sarafan rallied with victory, holding Janos' heart and calling it the Heart of Darkness. But then, Janos' loyal prodigy, Vorador, retaliated and vowed vengeance against all humankind.
Call your dogs! They can feast on your corpses! For fulfilling the circle mallet of the Sarafan, you are hereby damned. The pleasures of the flesh are no longer yours. You have but one purpose, damned warrior. You will serve us for eternity.
After humiliating Malik, Vordor disappeared, no longer meddling with the human race, which led to Malik's demise. For failing the circle, Mortanius fused Malik's flesh with his armor for all eternity. 50 years later, Ariel, the Balance Guardian, was murdered by unknown forces. Then Ariel's lover, due to her death, Nupraptor, spread his misery to the world, which caused the pillars to corrupt and its guardians, which now they had fell into their own insanity. And then the noble Kain was born. He is the son of Nosgoth's most noble families. He is marked from birth unknowingly to him as Ariel's successor. It is his destiny to take her place as the pillar of balance, but what lies ahead of him is a dark and lonely journey.
There is a magical operation of maximum importance. The initiation of a new aeon. When it becomes necessary to utter a word, the whole planet must be bathed in blood.
The tavern's closing. Best be on your way, stranger. What? No mug of ale for a weary traveller from distant Corhagen? I can reward you well, for I am of noble blood. I stay open for no man in these dark times. Things come with the night that no sane man would welcome. And so I left, cold of heart and soul, forced to the road and the long, bitter night. That's him! End it! Now!
They, victors, suffering to the conquered. Ironic that now I was the one suffering. Not anything as pedestrian as physical pain, rather the cruel jab of impotent anger. The hunger for revenge. I didn't care if I was in heaven or hell. All I wanted was to kill my assassins. Sometimes you get what you wish for. The necromancer Mortanius offered me a chance for vengeance, and like a fool, I jumped at his offer without considering the cost. Nothing is free, not even revenge.
You will have the blood you hunger for.
Join me next time on the next Legacy of Kain timeline, Episode 2, Road to Vengeance, where we will journey on to the once noble Kain, now a vampire who is cursed to walk the night, fueled with vengeance and hatred. And at the Pillars of Nosgoth, he will finally meet the former Balanced Guardian and also to fulfill his destiny. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. And I'll see y'all at the next episode.